I've always found it interesting to learn about where the companies I deal with came from and get to know the personalities behind the brand. Understanding the passion and motivation behind the products I'm buying gives me great confidence in their performance. Martin Barkey at MBRP is a perfect example of this. I've known Martin for many years and understand very well his passion and addiction to all things fast and loud. But I wanted to get to know Martin's history and learn about how MBRP became one of the world's leading performance exhaust manufacturers.
My passion for automotive definitely started at home. I can remember pedal cars back in the day, you know, running around the house, the yard. I can remember my father's first snowmobile. My father had a performance exhaust manufacturing company, one-car garage. So I think right from day one, it was just cars, automobiles, loud, going fast, and instilled from my father and his line of work and his passion, and it just became natural.
Why do we trust Martin and MBRP with our performance toys? Because he's just like us. He fully understands that inward desire for more horsepower, more performance, and more speed.
Motorsports for me started with drag racing, actually. Very first street race, I was telling somebody that my father was the flag person. My father was standing in the middle of Highway 11, dropping his arms for a buddy of mine in a '69 Camaro, and I was in a Pro Street Ford Courier. And then, you know, growing up through teens, my early 20s, it became evident that going fast, being competitive, racing, drag racing, road racing, it doesn't matter. I'll race my buddies in a golf cart going from hole 1 to hole 2 nowadays.
Every company has a beginning, and MBRP started small with just Martin and his father building and selling products out of the back of a pickup truck. There was no corporate backing, no advertising budgets, no fancy retail space. Just two guys with a passion for making things go faster.
My father had a shop in Amsdale, and he was producing motorcycle exhaust systems for a private label building for the likes of Lang Hindle, Canada's #1 road racer back in the 60s and 70s. And Dad was still doing these, you know, I'll fix this, I'll repair that. So people would bring in their lawnmowers for a muffler, they'd bring in their tractors for a muffler, they'd bring in their, you know, snowmobiles, their mini bikes, their kids' mini bikes, their cars. Long story short, I saw this muffler that he built, and I said to him, you know, we should build that in production. After some prototypes, after some test fitting, after some designing, Dad would build these, and I would go and drywall by day and paint B&B eliminators by night. And I would load up a minivan or whatever truck I had at the time and go knocking door to door and try selling, you know, what was at that time the B&B Eliminator.
The small-scale success Martin had achieved with the B&B Eliminator drove him to expand his business with the hope of turning a shop in a one-car garage into something more.
And obviously when you start in snowmobiles and you start as small as we did with you know, just a few B&B Eliminators, we wanted to grow that into a much larger line. We rented a bigger shop. We thought we'd get into automotive, and one of the first segments we got into was sport compact, and we started building one-off systems here and there, and it was not met with high hopes by any means. It was we were trying to enter into a market that was already established with multi-million-dollar companies, and here I was lying on my back in a dirt floor in a shop here in Huntsville, trying to develop, you know, a system for a Sunfire or a Cavalier. At the same time, I was doing very much like what my father had done back in the day. You might bring me your Mustang, or someone would bring me their truck, and I would build a one-off system, cut and weld, and I'd buy bends from my father, and I had a welder, and, you know, away we go. It gave us an insight into what maybe we wanted to do, and what at that time was the off-season. I don't know what happened, but the day that we decided to go into diesel pickup trucks, and you know, let's try building dual exhaust for diesels. Let's try building 4-inch turbo backs. Must have been the day that the diesel market started up, and people said, I want duals, I want stacks, I want smokers, I want turbo backs. Because again, you know, we've been blessed with sales and partnerships and distribution partnerships beyond belief, and to what you see here today. For me, anything with a motor, anything that can go fast, anything that can have performance boosted has always been of interest to me, for sure.
Despite huge success, Martin has never lost that passion for performance and go-fast toys that started him on this path in the very beginning. With a little bit more resources and a lot more experience, Martin has now taken up professional road racing.
So racing and how it ties into our companies is really simple. I mean, it's based off of the passion that I have to start with, the competitiveness that I've always had, both in business and on the track now today.
But the racing serves more than one purpose. Yes, he loves it and lives it day in and day out. But Martin knows for his products to have credibility, whether it be on a car, truck, or ATV, those products have to be tested and proven under the harshest conditions.
It's easy to put a car in a dyno here right behind me and say, oh, we make horsepower. It's easy to make it shiny and have a consumer say, wow, that looks killer or sounds killer. But let's put the products on the track. Let's test them. I mean, we're talking endurance racing. We're talking, you know, banging it off of 7, 8, 9,000 RPM over and over and over again. We're talking of seeing temperatures that you'll never see on the street. If it lasts on the racetrack, is it going to last for you on the street? We think so.
From building snowmobile mufflers in his dad's garage to professional level road racing, Martin has come a long way. But despite the huge success of his business, one thing has remained the same. Martin is just like you and me, a motorhead who loves to go fast and wants to squeeze as much performance as possible out of his go fast toys.
What is MBRP today? It was from day one, and it is still today. It's about passion, it's about integrity, it's about producing a good quality product that, you know, I wouldn't ask you to put it on, or I wouldn't ask my customers to put it on their vehicle if we wouldn't put it on our own first.
If you enjoyed this video, post a comment and let us know what you think. Then, click this link to subscribe and that link for more great videos from DirtTrax TV.